My child, listen carefully. Because this is not just another emotional story, this is the kind of truth that hits differently when you're alone at night, the kind of realization that slowly creeps into your heart and refuses to leave. And if you're here right now, it's not random, it's because somewhere deep inside you, you've already felt it, that strange, unexplainable connection with someone, that feeling that this person is not ordinary, that they are somehow tied to your future in a way you can't fully explain. And what you're about to understand will change the way you see them forever, because your soulmate has already chosen you for marriage. Yes, before the words were spoken, before any clear commitment was made, before anything became official, their soul made a decision about you, a quiet, powerful decision that they haven't revealed yet. And the reason this feels confusing is because their actions don't always match that truth. Sometimes they seem distant, sometimes they hesitate, sometimes they act like they're unsure. And you sit there questioning everything, wondering if you're imagining things, wondering if you're reading too much into the connection. But what you don't see is the internal storm they are facing, because when someone realizes they've found the person they could spend their entire life with, it doesn't always bring instant clarity. Sometimes it brings fear, sometimes it brings pressure, sometimes it forces them to confront parts of themselves they've been avoiding for years. And your soulmate is in that exact position right now, caught between what their heart already knows and what their mind is still trying to process, because deep down, they have already pictured a future with you, they have already imagined what it would feel like to build a life with you, they have already seen you standing beside them in moments that haven't even happened yet. And these thoughts don't come from nowhere, they come from a place so deep that even they don't fully understand it, which is why they try to hide it. Because admitting that they've already chosen you would mean accepting something permanent, something serious, something that changes everything, and not everyone is ready to face that kind of truth immediately, especially if they've been hurt before, especially if they've built walls to protect themselves, especially if they are used to being in control of their emotions, and you disrupt that control. You make them feel things they didn't plan to feel, you make them think about a future they weren't actively searching for, and that's exactly why they pull back sometimes, not because they don't care, but because they care too much, and that intensity scares them. It makes them question themselves, it makes them wonder if they are ready for something so real, so deep, so life-changing. And while they are going through this internal battle, you are left trying to understand their behavior, trying to make sense of the mixed signals, trying to figure out why someone who feels so connected to you can act so uncertain at times. And this is where most people make a mistake. They assume that inconsistency means lack of love. They assume that hesitation means rejection. They assume that silence means absence of feelings. But in situations like this, it often means the opposite. It means the emotions are so strong that the person doesn't know how to handle them. Yet, it means they are overwhelmed by what they feel. It means they are trying to slow things down internally while their heart is already moving faster than they expected, and your soulmate is doing exactly that. They are trying to catch up to a decision their soul has already made. They are trying to align their mind with a truth their heart has already accepted, and until that alignment happens, there will be moments of confusion, moments of distance, moments where it feels like they are holding back. But behind all of that, there is a constant, unchanging truth. They have already chosen you. And you feel this on a deeper level, even if you can't explain it logically, even if there is no clear confirmation yet, even if the situation doesn't look perfect on the surface, there is something inside you that keeps telling you that this connection is different, that this person is not just passing through your life, that there is something bigger happening here, and that feeling is not something to ignore. Because real connections don't come with constant clarity in the beginning, they come with depth, they come with intensity, they come with moments that challenge your understanding of love, and this is one of those moments. This is a phase where everything is being prepared behind the scenes, where both of you are being shaped into the people you need to become before stepping into something as serious as marriage, and while you are growing in your own way, they are doing the same, even if it's not visible, even if they don't talk about it, even if it feels like they are standing still. Internally, they are evolving. Internally, they are dealing with fears, doubts, past wounds, responsibilities, and expectations that they feel they need to resolve before fully stepping forward, because choosing someone for marriage is not a light decision. It carries weight, it carries responsibility, it carries a future that cannot be taken lightly, and they understand that, which is why they are not rushing to express it, which is why they are keeping it hidden for now. But hidden does not mean absent, silent does not mean empty, and delayed does not mean denied. It simply means the timing is still aligning, it means the process is still unfolding, it means the story is still being written, and your role in this is not to force clarity before its time, not to chase answers out of fear, not to lose yourself trying to decode their every action. Your role is to stay grounded, to stay confident in your own worth, to continue moving forward in your life without putting everything on hold, because the moment you start chasing validation, the dynamic shifts, the balance changes, and this connection is not meant to be built on chasing, it is meant to be built on alignment, where both people come forward naturally when they are ready, and your soulmate is getting there, step by step, even if it's slower than you expected, even if it tests your patience, even if it makes you question things at times, because what they feel for you is not temporary, it's not superficial, it's not something that fades easily, it's something that stays, something that lingers, something that grows stronger the more they try to ignore it, and eventually, there comes a point where they can no longer hide it, where the truth becomes too strong to suppress, where the fear becomes smaller than the desire to be with you. And when that moment arrives, everything changes, the confusion disappears, the hesitation fades, the silence breaks. Do not skip, and what was once hidden becomes clear, direct, and undeniable, and you will finally see what was always there beneath the surface. You will finally understand why things happened the way they did, why the timing felt slow, why the signals felt mixed, why the journey felt uncertain, because it was all leading to that moment of clarity, that moment where everything aligns. And until then, the most powerful thing you can do is trust the process without losing yourself in it. Trust the connection without forcing it, and trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by, especially something as strong as a soulmate connection that has already been chosen on a level deeper than words, because some decisions are not made out loud, some commitments are not announced immediately, some truths take time to surface, but when they do, they change everything, and this is one of those truths, and here is the part most people don't talk about. The silent phase where everything feels unclear, where you start questioning not just them but yourself, where you replay conversations in your mind and try to decode every small action, every delay, every change in their tone, because when someone has already chosen you deep inside but is still hiding it, their behavior becomes a puzzle. And that puzzle can either make you stronger or slowly drain your confidence depending on how you handle it, because the truth is your soulmate is not just dealing with love right now, they are dealing with responsibility, fear of commitment, fear of losing freedom, fear of repeating past mistakes, and most importantly, fear of not being enough for the future they have already imagined with you, and that fear is something they will never openly admit, because from the outside they may appear calm or even detached, but inside they are constantly asking themselves questions like, "Am I ready for this? Can I really handle a lifelong commitment? What if I fail? What if I hurt this person?" And these thoughts don't come from a lack of love, they come from the weight of how real this connection feels, because casual connections don't create this level of internal pressure, only something meaningful, something long-term, something that feels like destiny can make a person pause like this, can make them step back even when their heart is pulling them forward. And while they are going through this internal process, you are experiencing the external effects of it, the inconsistency, the emotional distance at times, the moments where they come close and then suddenly create space, and it confuses you because it doesn't follow logic, it doesn't follow a straight pattern, and that's because this is not a logical phase, this is an emotional transformation phase for them, and during this time, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is assuming that their silence is your answer, because silence in this situation is not rejection, it is processing, it is hesitation, it is them trying to align their reality with what they already feel deep inside, and if you react to that silence with desperation, with chasing, with constant need for reassurance, it creates pressure. And pressure pushes them further into their shell, not because they don't want you, but because they feel even more overwhelmed, and that's why your energy during this phase matters more than their actions. Because the moment you stay calm, the moment you stay confident, the moment you stop trying to force clarity, you shift the entire dynamic. You give them the space to come to their own realization without fear, and that's when things begin to move, slowly but surely, because deep down, they are already attached to you in a way they cannot explain. They are already emotionally invested even if they don't show it fully. They already feel a sense of belonging with you that they don't feel with anyone else. And this is why no matter how much distance they create, something keeps bringing them back, something keeps pulling their thoughts toward you, something keeps reminding them that you are not just another person in their life, you are someone they cannot easily replace, and that realization grows stronger with time, especially when you don't chase, especially when you don't lose your value trying to hold on to them. Because absence combined with self-respect creates clarity in a way that words never can. It forces them to confront what they feel instead of avoiding it. It makes them realize what life would feel like without you, and that is when the hidden decision inside them starts to surface more strongly. That is when they begin to understand that this is not something they can keep ignoring forever. That eventually they will have to step forward, eventually they will have to express what they have been holding back. Eventually they will have to choose between staying in their comfort zone or stepping into something real with you, and that decision becomes easier for them when they see that you are not waiting in desperation, that you are not losing yourself, that you are not trying to control the outcome, because that kind of energy feels safe, it feels stable, it feels like something they can trust, and trust is the foundation they need before they can move towards something as serious as marriage. And while all of this is happening, you may still have moments of doubt, moments where you question if this is worth it, moments where you feel tired of the uncertainty, and those feelings are valid. but what you need to remember is that not every phase of a deep connection feels comfortable. Some phases are meant to test your patience, your self-worth, your ability to stay grounded without constant validation, and this is one of those phases. This is where you prove to yourself that you are not defined by someone else's timing, that you are not dependent on someone else's clarity to feel secure, because the stronger you become in your own space, the more naturally this connection aligns without force, and your soulmate. They are watching this, even if they don't say it. They notice your energy, they notice your strength, they notice when you stop chasing and start standing in your own power, and that shifts something inside them. It makes them respect you more. It makes them feel safer to approach you. It makes them realize that you are not just someone they feel for, you are someone they can actually build a future with. And that realization is what slowly breaks down their fear. That is what brings them closer to expressing what they have been hiding all along, because at the end of the day, no matter how much they try to delay it, no matter how much they try to suppress it, a decision made at the soul level cannot stay hidden forever. It will find its way to the surface, it will demand to be expressed, and when that moment comes, it won't be confusing anymore, it won't be uncertain anymore, it will be clear, direct, and undeniable. But until that moment arrives, your power lies in patience, in self-respect, in trusting what you feel without forcing it into a timeline, because some of the strongest connections don't unfold quickly, they unfold deeply, and depth takes time, and when everything finally reaches that turning point, it won't feel rushed, it won't feel forced, it won't feel like something you had to beg for or chase endlessly. It will feel natural, almost inevitable, like two paths that were always meant to meet have finally stopped resisting the direction they were already moving in, because by the time your soulmate steps forward, they won't be the same person who once hesitated. They won't be the same person who was confused or afraid to admit what they feel. They will have already gone through that internal war. They will have already faced their doubts, their fears, their past wounds, and the version of them that comes toward you at that moment will be clearer, stronger, and more certain than before. And that is why this delay, as frustrating as it feels right now, is not working against you. It is working for the stability of what is coming, because anything rushed without emotional readiness eventually breaks under pressure. But something that is built after reflection, after growth, after understanding, that kind of connection has a completely different strength to it, and you will notice the difference immediately. The mixed signals will disappear, the inconsistency will fade, the silence will no longer confuse you, because they will speak with clarity, they will act with intention, they will show you through both words and actions that they are no longer hiding, that they are no longer holding back, that they are ready to stand beside you fully. And in that moment, everything you once questioned will start making sense. Every delay will reveal its purpose. Every moment of doubt will feel like a necessary step that led to something more solid, more real, more lasting, and you will realize that what felt uncertain before was actually a process of alignment, a process of turning two individuals into partners who are ready for something as serious as marriage, because marriage is not just about love. It is about emotional maturity, stability, responsibility, and the ability to choose each other not just in easy moments but in difficult ones too. And your soulmate needed time to reach that level, needed time to become someone who can truly hold that commitment without fear. And during that same time, you were also evolving. You were learning patience, learning self-worth, learning not to lose yourself in someone else's pace, and that growth within you is just as important as their transformation. Because when both of you finally meet at the same level of understanding, the connection flows without resistance. It doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel one-sided, it feels balanced, it feels right, and that is when the hidden decision they made long ago finally becomes visible in the real world. That is when they openly choose you, not just in their heart but in their actions, in their words, in their commitment, and you won't have to question it anymore. You won't have to guess what they feel. You won't have to analyze every little thing, because clarity replaces confusion completely, and this is something you need to hold on to right now, especially in moments when your mind tries to convince you that nothing is happening, just because something is not visible yet doesn't mean it's not forming. Some of the most important decisions in life are made quietly, away from the surface, away from other people's eyes, and your soulmate's decision about you is one of those things. It has been growing, strengthening, and becoming more real with time, even when it wasn't being expressed, and when it finally reaches the point where it can no longer stay hidden, it will come forward in a way that leaves no room for doubt, and you will understand that this was never about uncertainty, it was about timing, it was about preparation, it was about both of you becoming ready for something that is meant to last. So instead of focusing on what is not being said right now, focus on who you are becoming during this phase. Focus on maintaining your peace, your confidence, your direction. Because the strongest position you can be in is not waiting in anxiety but standing in your own value while everything aligns naturally, and when that alignment completes, when both hearts and minds are finally in the same place, the choice that was once hidden will become a reality you can see, feel, and live, and at that point, there will be no confusion left, only clarity, commitment, and a connection that feels like it was always meant to happen exactly this way, and the final truth. The one most people are not ready to hear, but you are here for a reason, so you need to understand this deeply. Even though your soulmate has already chosen you on a soul level, even though they have imagined a future with you and felt that unspoken pull toward you, this journey was never meant to be about waiting for them to finally admit it. It was meant to transform you into someone who does not lose themselves while love is still unfolding. Because the biggest mistake that can quietly destroy a powerful connection is not distance, it is not silence, it is not even delay. It is losing your own identity in the process of trying to hold on to someone who is still finding their clarity, and this is where your true test has been all along, not whether they will choose you, because that decision has already been made within them, but whether you will continue choosing yourself while everything is still aligning, because real, lasting love is not built on one person waiting and the other catching up. It is built on two people growing individually until they can meet as equals, without fear, without imbalance, without emotional dependency, and this is why you were made to go through moments of confusion, moments of silence, moments where nothing seemed to move, because those moments forced you to look within, forced you to build strength, forced you to realize that your worth does not decrease just because someone else is still figuring out their timing. And when you truly understand that, everything changes, because you stop chasing clarity and you start becoming clarity. You stop seeking validation and you start embodying confidence. You stop feeling like you are waiting and you start realizing that you are simply living your life while something meaningful is aligning in the background, and that shift in energy is powerful, because it removes pressure from the connection. it creates space for things to grow naturally, and most importantly, it makes you someone who is ready not just to receive love, but to sustain it, because sustaining a relationship, especially one that leads to marriage, requires emotional independence. As much as it requires connection, it requires trust not just in the other person but in the process itself, and this is the part where everything becomes clear. If this connection is truly meant to become your reality, it will not require you to shrink yourself, it will not require you to abandon your growth, it will not require you to live in constant uncertainty forever, because when the timing aligns, when both of you are ready, things will move forward in a way that feels stable, not chaotic, consistent, not confusing, and mutual, not one-sided. And that is how you will know that what was once hidden has fully come into the light, because their actions will match what their soul had already decided long ago. They will no longer hold back, they will no longer hide behind fear, they will step forward with intention, with clarity, with a sense of certainty that you can feel without needing to question it. And in that moment, you will not feel like you won something, you will feel like you arrived at something that was always being prepared for you, something that required patience, growth, and trust from both sides. And until that moment comes, the most powerful thing you can carry with you is this understanding. You are not waiting to be chosen, you are already chosen on a level deeper than words, but at the same time, you are not here to pause your life until that choice becomes visible. You are here to continue evolving, continue living, continue becoming the person who can receive and maintain the kind of love that does not break under pressure, because when everything finally aligns, when the hidden becomes visible, when the silence turns into clear commitment, it will not feel like a question anymore. It will feel like an answer, a complete, undeniable answer that brings peace instead of confusion, certainty instead of doubt, and a future that no longer feels distant but finally feels real, grounded, and ready to be lived. And that is when you will look back at this entire phase and realize that nothing was wasted, nothing was meaningless, every moment had a purpose, every delay had a reason, and everything led you exactly where you were meant to be.